Welcome, everybody, to the TMI FYI podcast. I'm Nat.
And I'm Claude.
And welcome back. How have you been, my girl?
Good. Today I knew we were going to start with our twisted buns.
Oh,
Moño virado.
Let's get into it. And Moño virado, girl, tell us.
So today we had sharing car duties. I have a niece that relocated, your cousin.
From La France.
Yes. And so in the meantime, she's interviewing and stuff. So we do sharing cars and blah, blah. So today we all had something. And so I said, okay, take my car, blah, blah, blah. And I run out the door to my appointment and I'm all happy. And I'm like, shit, I forgot my phone. And then I couldn't get back into the house because I had closed the garage. There was no spare key anywhere. And I was locked out.
And you open your door with your phone?
You can open the garage with the app.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm sure everybody does.
But you have no phone,
but
so
I
there's
have
no
phone,
app.
so there's no app. Mm-hmm. And then there's no hide a key. We don't have like a spare key anywhere. So I was literally...
This sounds like a nightmare. What'd you do?
Okay. So now I'm like, I can't even... I had to drop my husband's wallet. He left it in the car. I had to take it to him before I went to my appointment. I'm like, now I can't even call him to tell him I'm here. So I have to run inside. So it just got me. And then I was just like, why are we so dependent on our phones?
Preach.
Everything we do is tied. Your alarm in the morning is usually your phone or an app on your phone. Everything. And as much as I try to stay off my phone, I don't like having my phone all the time. I'm like, if there's nothing that I need to be tending to, I don't care. I leave it on silent. It's in another room. I hate the constant dinging. It stresses.
Well, yes.
Especially like a group text. Please, no group text. My sister's a lover of group text. Start a new group text. I go, eliminate me off of that immediately. I can't stand them. So I just started saying, so I had an Apple Watch on. I have an Apple Watch.
Yes, I have one
I don't
too.
have it synced to anything because I don't want my messages to ding.
Well, you can just turn those off on notifications.
That's what it is. I just have it basically as a watch and a steps counter.
Okay.
So then of course I'm in the car going, okay, I have a phone. Can I Bluetooth it to my husband's Bluetooth thing and trying to drive and sync? Wasn't working.
Sounds safe.
No, it was awful. Yeah. Will it sync? No. So that didn't work. Then I'm like, where I'm going, I can use the Wi-Fi. Then I did that when I got to where I was going. It said, please input the two-step verification code we sent to your other device. I go, motherfucker, if I had another device, I wouldn't be, oh my God. And I was just like,
and
again.
you know what's so annoying to your point? Like, it's not even just the things that you would expect to need to use a phone for. Everything has an app now, like even like ovens. Mm-hmm. And so your air conditioner, everything requires this like two-step bullshit with the password. It's like, I don't know what my passwords are for anything. Don't stop asking
I do.
me.
Once I change it once, I kind of change it everywhere to the same.
Okay, but that's very bad practice. And by the way, I do the exact same thing.
Okay, I was going to say, and you expect me to remember what? Like, okay, so I was just with the whole. And then I realized I need to have a spare key. We all need to have a key to the house. Like this is crazy.
That sounds like a good idea.
So it was just I said my Whoop, thing that I wear that I don't have it on right now, but it's going to tell me you were in high stress for 30 minutes today.
Your cortisol was very elevated.
Very high because damn, you forget your phone and then you're stuck. And I don't want to be, so that's why I don't have my Apple Watch, synced to my phone or whatever. I don't want notifications. And I think that started also when I was, at one point I was at the gym, with my trainer or whatever. And it was a different trainer at the time. And we would be talking or working out or whatever. And we would have a conversation. She would talk to me and go, and then look at her phone and read her messages.
Rude.
But that happens all the time anywhere you are.
I was literally just doing it to you right now.
Yes, you were. And I was about to say, hi, we're filming. But it happens all the time. My husband does it. That is one of our, I wouldn't say biggest arguments, but it's one of my peeves is if that's so important while I'm talking that you're just going to look at it then I'm just going to stop. So I just stop and I stay silent. I'm listening. I go, nope, go ahead and take care of that.
Nice and passive aggressive.
No,
I agree with you. It is super rude.
And we're all guilty of kind of doing it because as soon as I say it, then he'll say, well, you're always on your phone. I go, okay, this isn't like you did this and I did this. But I just find it, and I really try to pay attention and be conscious of if my phone is buzzing or I'm speaking to someone, if I have to get it, ignore it, or I'll say, I'm sorry, I'm expecting a call. Can you just, at least I warn them, but just to look at them and go, and then look at something else. It's like, really though, that's just...
I have this conversation with my husband multiple times a week because he is addicted to the phone. So he's always looking at it like this. Every conversation we have is with him also staring at the phone. And I've had to be like, as my therapist does, when you do that, I feel like you're not listening.
I feel like you're an asshole.
I feel like I fucking hate you. But all right. So I'm sorry that happened to you. That sounded stressful.
And then, and the day worked out fine. But you get in this, and you're going 1,000 miles an hour, and everybody's like, "You're here, you're fine, you made it on time." And I'm like,
and at that moment, you're just like, "Shut up."
And I'm like, "Oh, yes, I am," but you have no idea. The last 45 minutes of my life, I lost like 3 years, but that's okay.
Okay,
here I am, and my phone was fine, and all.
And now we're here.
And really, the only thing that stressed me out was there was an email of a new client that I wanted to respond to, and I said I printed the email to have to read over before I responded. And so I had no way to respond. I go, oh my God, they're going to think I'm not interested. They're going to think I blew them off. But
isn't that wild? Like, I totally understand that stress. And I think it's so wild. And this is not on topic for today, but I think it speaks to this culture that we have created of immediate responsiveness,
instant gratification,
and it's just
every
like
aspect.
It's not reasonable. It's just not reasonable for people to expect that you're going to be available at the moment that you need them to be. And so I've kind of given up on that, and I'm like, I am responsive in like a reasonable time frame, but I'm not an immediate responder unless I happen to have seen your message and I have the time.
And I'm on my
And if I don't, like, you're just gonna have to wait a minute, and it's gonna be all right. Like,
but this is a society, a generation, a world of instant,
and we're all worse for it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. How can we? And it's how can we do the thing faster, get it faster, do more and more, and then we have less time. Like microwaves. Oh, it cooks your food faster, so you don't have to spend so much time cooking. Okay, so we got that thing that does it faster. All these things make things faster, but we still then just load up our time and schedule with more things.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's not like we have a ton of free time. We're just loaded up with more shit.
I hear you. Well, my
that's my twisted bit for today.
It is twisted. It is a French twist.
I am letting it down right now.
Let's see. You know what? I had one from the other day that I didn't share, but it's related to the phone, so I will share it. In that, I was at Publix the other day. Publix is our grocery store, for those of you not in Florida. We're the Southeast region. And I got it. This one has an elevator from the parking lot to the actual store. And as I'm going in, this woman is talking on her phone on speaker. I want to say, I don't even know if it was a FaceTime or not, but it was loud. I could hear her whole conversation.
Of course.
And I'm thinking to myself, I know this bitch is going to turn this off before she gets in the elevator. Like, I know. Of course she didn't. And here's the thing. If she was having a conversation like with a doctor about a life and death situation, I'd be like, sure, lady.
So yes, you have a tumor.
Take the call. Like, sure. But she was talking shit about her cousin to whoever she was talking to.
Her other cousin.
To her other cousin. And I'm like, nobody wants to hear this conversation. And I feel like there is a level of just people being so inconsiderate.
Disregard.
Complete disregard. And this also happened to me. I posted one of these things on Instagram the other day. And a few people agreed with me. I think other people were probably like, man, you're fun at a party. But like, I hate when and it happened to me this weekend. I hate when I go to the beach and I'm there for like the sun and vibes and the birds and the wind.
The chill.
And someone comes in with their like, doon, 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 doon.
Yeah, their speaker on the shoulder.
Or the reggaeton or whatever. It just drives me nuts. I'm like, what makes you think anybody wants to listen to that right now? And I was at the beach with my parents this weekend. You can imagine my dad's reaction. My dad is not a party man. He's a wonderful soul, but he hates like music and loud things. And we were both on this. We connected, and I was like, Dad, you're right. Like, this is inconsiderate. So just PSA, people, like, nobody wants to listen to the thing you're listening to.
Do your thing, whatever, but do your thing. Keep it in your space.
Yeah.
Like, we're all sharing the beach. We're all sharing the elevator. I don't care to hear you. Get earbuds.
And most of the time, it's not even anything good. Like, they have horrible taste in music, stupid conversations that aren't even good. I just, anyway.
Juicy gossip, go ahead, spill it. I'll stay in the elevator with you.
You're talking to me about, like, the affair you're having. I'll be like, ooh, and then what happened? But, I didn't care about. Anyway,
So
now that we've gotten that off our
and you've
chest,
got your Prosecco in hand.
got Prosecco in hand. We got a beer today.
Yeah,
we're
we have a beer
exhaling.
today.
We're unclenching.
We're not even in matching glasses.
No, we're not. We are going
all right.
full rogue today.
Who are we?
You don't even recognize us.
No.
So today's topic I thought was a really interesting one. I think it's going to raise a lot of thoughts for people and maybe a lot of feelings because it could be very loaded. And we're talking about money, which is a conversation I don't think enough women.
Money. What is it? Give me my money.
Give me my money. That TikTok trend.
Oh, that's so horrible. I can't watch those. I can't. I feel so bad for the person that's left out in the lurch.
So anyone who doesn't know this trend,
no, they have to know.
Maybe they don't. Okay. It's past. It is. Don't do it because now you'll be very uncool. But for a minute there, it was really funny to gather a group of people and everybody says, "Give me my money," and everybody
you go
claps
into the camera and one by one, give
and
me
everybody
my money.
claps for you and and then the last person does it and nobody claps
and it's just awkward silence.
Just,
look, you say it and I get like
it's in Spanish it's pena ajena. It's just like you just feel so bad for them.
That's awful.
So we don't want to make anyone feel like that today with this conversation. But
money can be an alienating topic.
Money can really be.
Well, it's a number one. I want to say reason, whatever. Biggest fights in marriages, divorce.
I believe it. It's been the source of many a heated conversation in my own relationship.
And everybody's. It's always, unless you're exactly the same and you come from exactly the same, and even then, So I actually think might be more of the spender, one might.
Yeah, well, I think that's a great place to start, depending on where you come from, right? So I think a lot of people bring in money baggage into every relationship, not even just their romantic ones, but even their friendships. We all come with a money, an experience with money.
An ideology of what, what you talk about, what you don't, what you should have, what you should.
In my family, and you can tell me about yours, which we're actually in the same family.
We didn't grow up in the same house.
But we didn't grow up in the same house. We had different parents.
Right.
For those of you who don't know, if you're just joining us.
My oldest brother is her dad.
Yeah. So my dad is her. Niece. Exactly. And so in my family, I feel like money was just not really discussed very much. It was, I knew my parents had jobs. I knew that my dad made more than my mom. I knew that. But if I ever asked, how much money do you make? It was no answer.
Crickets.
They would just, no one ever told me. And sometimes I'd be and this was, I don't think that was an inappropriate question. I do think when I would ask stuff how much money do you have in the bank? That was probably a little much. Yeah, that was a little precocious.
Yeah.
And they would be we're not telling you that. But, I don't think it's an abnormal thing to be hey, so you do this job. How much money does that job make? But they would never tell me. So I didn't, and they never talked to me about investments that they had, or there was just nothing. And so I felt I grew up very financially illiterate. And I think it did me a disservice. Yeah. And it turns out my dad is extremely financially literate, and I had no idea because he never talked to me about that stuff. No shade on you, Dad. I love you. But I just wish I would have gotten more of that education.
Share, especially today. I mean, I think society today, and I think our kids, my daughter's 23, my stepdaughter's 30. I think now, social media and digital and everything has really changed things. Things are much more accessible out there, information, et cetera, back. And when we were younger, it just wasn't, you had the newspaper and the stocks and you're investment. You're I don't, whatever.
I have no idea what that means.
At that. Yeah. Okay, there's a card. You can go to a machine and get money.
Yes.
And write a check. And then, but again, your check, you have to have money in an account to write the check. You can't just write on this paper and give it as money. You have to learn. You bounce a couple, Mm-hmm. In my house, definitely no. I just knew we didn't have. It was always, we were always on a budget.
What's money?
We can't afford that. Or I remember back to school shopping was always my mom's I remember it. I think she used to tell me, so this was in the 80s. So it was okay, $300, I think it was. I want to say 300
for school supplies.
Yeah, for clothes. For
in the 80s, that was a lot.
Yeah, 300. So it was Guess jeans, which were a big deal.
Oh, okay.
And those
so
were
you were going fancy.
Wait a minute, they were $52, I think I remember, and that was a big deal, you know,
Hell
with
yeah.
the zipper thing on the side. And
Very cool.
And I remember I would get a couple things and, oh my God, I would wear those things left and right, you know, every week. Like, oh, I wore this last week, you know, but there was a budget for, you know, for everything. I had hand-me-downs forever. My sister's bathing suit, I think I wore it for 3 years straight, a little one-piece maroon thing when I was so happy because it was my sister's. But money was just not, it was just, we were always
So did
on
you
a budget.
feel that you came from like do you feel that it impacted you in terms of having like a scarcity mindset of like there's never enough money? And that was because
No.
No.
I think to this day, I am always afraid of losing anything I have or getting to the point where you're paycheck to paycheck or waiting for the shoe to drop. Like, okay, you're doing okay, but just wait because something's coming.
Right.
And now you're going to be stressed out and you're going to be, you know, I remember my first real job. I had a million jobs like high school and right out of.
Sure.
But my first like official job was at this big real estate company and I was the receptionist, you know, and I worked with like 40 men and like 10 women. The women were in the word processing department.
Obviously.
You know, yeah. And then the men were, and I remember I would get my paycheck and I was living half that time with my sister and I would help her pay the rent, which she didn't need it, but it was my responsibility, you know.
Yeah.
And I would end up with $50 from my paycheck, $50 till my next paycheck, which was 2 weeks later. 2 weeks with $50. I'm like, I need to make this up. And somehow I would end up going to ladies' night where the drinks were free on Wednesday nights. We'd go to hooligan, you know, like you found a way. You just became resourceful. You found the Taco Bell, whatever. Like I'm here,
course.
obviously, you know. So you learn to kind of repeat. You know that you can make it happen. So then when you start earning a little more, of course, as they always say, you make more, you spend more. I think that happens to most people,
Of course.
but I think you learn something from having to resolve, you know, to having to figure it out.
Well, I had a very different, in the sense that I also had jobs where my first jobs, obviously I wasn't making a lot of money. I was doing dumb stuff. You know what I did when I would have such little money? I was such a poor, so I think because I didn't really learn a lot about money and I didn't really get a lot of education on like how to budget. I know my parents had one, but
Right.
I didn't know about it and I didn't know what the budget was. And I just knew like if I
They
needed
would give you
something,
money.
if I needed something, my parents would give it to me. And they were very mindful about money. They're immigrants. So they had a very immigrant mentality. Like everything was like cheap and
Yeah.
like whatever. But I never wanted for anything and they always
Right.
gave it to me. So I was so bad with money. I was such an idiot that when it came time to having my own money and I made very, very little and I would end up like that. Like, oh shit, I only have $50 for 2 weeks. You know what I would do at the time? Washington Mutual, which is a bank that does not exist anymore.
Washington Mutual, I know, I love them.
Washington, WAMU, shout out to WAMU. WAMU used to let you take out up to $300. Like you could withdraw your account up to negative $300, like overdraw your account up to $300. They would charge you a fee for overdraw. So I used to overdraw my account all the time and I kept getting these fees and then I would get my paycheck and it would basically amount to nothing because I had to pay all the money
fees,
back. Right. So finally I was like, wait, I got an idea. So I would just take out a full $300. I would be like negative $350 all the time. And then I would have instead of $50, I had $350 that I could use to
That's genius.
It was pretty smart, but it wasn't great. It didn't teach me a lot.
No.
Like no responsibility.
You were just learning how to work the system.
I learned how to work.
For sure.
Being
It's
resourceful.
still a lesson. It's still something you
It's
learned.
something I just want to reiterate.
Manipulate the system.
It's
really.
it's not a good strategy.
No.
I don't recommend it to anybody.
Because this was even later we were already married. And my husband, you know, was in his law practice, whatever, but it was starting, you know, was still trying to get business and whatever. And I remember Friday would come around and like, what are we going to, you know, tell him, what are we going to do this weekend? Like we're literally down to like nothing, like red line. So we would go to Publix, the local grocery store, and we would write a check because they would check cash at the office. And the maximum I think was $175 or $200. I don't remember, like $200, let's say. but you would go on a Friday. They don't put it in till Monday. So we would cash a check, and we're like, okay, this is going to get us through the weekend. And on Monday, you'll figure it out. And then on Monday, so that's what we
a
would
Monday problem.
So sometimes that's, I think even my daughter was born. I mean, like, okay, it's McDonald's this weekend and whatever. And we just made it happen. We used one car. We saved the gas in the other. I mean, you learn to just figure it out. So, the thing is that then when you start having more, whatever not that you can't, in my mind, I'm programmed that way. He's the opposite. He'll say, like, it's going to work out. Don't worry. He doesn't stress it. I'm sure he probably does, and he internalizes it. Doesn't express it so much because he's in his mind, he's got it worked out, whatever. But for me, I'm always conscious of it. Like, it's hard for me to really enjoy 100% any luxury or anything that we partake in.
But I think that makes sense, right? Because if you grow up in a space where there isn't enough for that, or something, I could see why it would be a little bit uncomfortable to then sit with it.
It's taken me a while, and as time has gone on, it's gotten better, and our financial situation obviously has improved and whatever. But I still never. I refuse to overpay. I always look for the sale. I love a good sale, and I love to brag about it. I tell everybody, I got this on sale, because it just feels good. You just feel like you're being responsible when you are able to save a little money. And I try to teach, my kids and stuff, and look for the BOGOs if you can, and this is not a good, I've tried to educate them on,
it's so
be
hard.
Mindful.
It's really hard though, especially if you grow up. So I'm the youngest of 3, and I think I definitely had the best, in terms of our upbringing, our parents were in the best place financially when I was like a teenager growing up, right? So things that I was able to do and get were not things that my oldest brother got, right? Like he had a totally different set of parents in that regard. And so I think it's really difficult to appreciate as someone who, and then by the way, my parents are not like wealthy, I'm not talking about like big money bucks here. I'm just talking about like we had like comfortable. We had nice things we didn't want for anything like that. But it's really hard to, I think they could appreciate it in a way that I couldn't, because they came to this country with literally zero, not even the language. And I was just the beneficiary of it. And so I think it was easy for me to be like, oh, I'll just overdraw my account for $300. Who cares? Like, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, but I think it's also, as long as our parents are around, I think we kind of...
There's a fallback plan.
There's a fallback.
But if your parents have it, right? Because
not even, because my mom didn't at all.
And you still were like, she's going to bail me out.
When I was like 21, 22, whatever, I got my first American Express, because of course I got a JCPenney card first, because that's the first one you can really like get. That will
JCPenney.
Oh, I know. Awful.
Haute couture.
Woo! Went crazy there.
The good stuff.
So I had my JCPenney, and then I don't even know what, and then somehow, by some fluke, I got an American Express. And oh, goodness gracious. And that was when I was going through a bad breakup at one point. And so my friend and I were going out.
Revenge shopping?
Oh, no. We were visiting clubs and stuff and bars, and I would rack it up. And at one point it got up to like $2,000, or no, maybe like $1,000. I don't know. It was some horrible number. And I had to go to my mom and ask her, Mom, I need to pay this and whatever. She's like, you get the lecture, of course. You're going to get it, tail between the legs, and you're like, whatever. And then you bail them out. And I've done that for my daughter. She learned credit cards, and then she got it. And I said, listen, I don't want you to start out with this over your head. Like I'm going to pay them off one time.
Yeah.
And now you know what it feels like to have your paycheck come and you're spending it paying minimums on credit cards.
Can I tell you the most embarrassing story about credit cards?
Please go.
I just want to share an embarrassing financial story for anyone who's a financial idiot. This might make you feel better, because no one has done.
Because you're not alone.
No one's been as dumb as me. So my first credit card, I was in.
Was not JCPenney?
It was not JCPenney.
Sucker.
No, I was not quite as fashionable as you.
I know.
But no, I was in college, and whatever bank it was had a table set up. No, it was not WAMU. They, I think it was Capital One or one of those. They had a table set up, and they were telling students to like sign up or whatever. So I was like, credit card, that sounds like a good idea. So like I go and I put my name in, and they run my credit, and I had never had a credit card, so I had no credit. And they're like, oh, well, you qualify for a credit card with a $500 limit. And I was like, $500? That sounds great. Like that's like 2 paychecks. I'm like, that's wonderful. Now I was so stupid that I thought it meant you get $500 every month. to just like spend on the
course,
credit card.
'cause-
So the first month I went ham. I was like, I'm going to get sushi. I'm going to buy like my outfits at Forever 21. I basically racked up almost the full $500 because I was like, I get $500 a month. And then, the bill comes and I'm like, well, I don't have that money.
Yeah.
Like, so I pay.
That's great. Where's my next 500?
Right. So I pay like the $20 minimum or whatever it is. And then I'm thinking I'm going to get another 500. And of course I don't. Like I have no available credit with interest and all that stuff. But that didn't stop me from like continuing. All's to say I ended up with a lot of debt, bad credit right off the bat.
Yep.
And
that's so common though.
It
like
is.
I'm telling you, I was 10, 15 years ahead of you. Did the same thing. Like
So-
you rack it up because you don't realize.
You don't think
I'll
about
deal with it. You don't know about finance charges and interest and everything else. You just.
The APR that's like 25%.
Oh, and now it's like 32 on some of them.
Yeah, that's insane. So I think the lesson here is for anyone listening, if you're getting your first credit card, don't.
Go slow.
Go slow.
Don't. And find the one.
If you don't need to.
Yeah.
And go slow and pay it off. If you can manage to pay off the balance at the end of the month, do that. Because when you're paying those interest charges, it's a lot of money.
It's
That's
wasted money. It's
wasted
money. It's wasted money. You might as well throw it in there. That's what's good about American Express is that it kind of forces you to limit yourself because you have to pay that balance at the end of the month. So you're like, ooh, I don't want to rack this up.
And you can go to a collection agency and that will fuck you up for
there's
years.
that.
And I've been there. Not,
yes.
Not with.
I did what is it? Consolidation Credit Bureau, whatever. And then they do that, but then they don't tell you, we got to cut up all your, can't use those, and.
Well, mine was student loan related, which we can talk about, which is a separate conversation. But all right, so I think we've kind of covered where we came from.
Well, yeah.
But,
go
here's
ahead.
Go no. What's your question?
I was going to say, that's individual.
Oh,
your history, your growing up. How about when you
come together?
Come together, or like now you're in career world and you have friends in career world and everybody's kind of like, well, where are you at and where are you, and the taboo on talking salaries and talking what you make and don't make, and when part of your group can afford to do certain things but the other part can't.
So I feel this so hard, Claudia. I'm very glad you brought this up. So for those of you who don't know, I went to law school. I'm a lawyer. I'm not the kind of lawyer that makes a lot of money. I was immediately gravitating toward everything that makes like $0. And
you have a good heart.
Because I'm a good person. But I just liked things that didn't end up paying a lot of money. And I had friends who were lawyers who did make a lot of money, because there's a big misconception out there that every lawyer makes a shit ton of money. They don't. It depends on what area of law you're in and what kind of firm you practice in, if you practice at a firm at all, that sort of thing. So I was not making a ton of money, but I was doing something that I liked, I thought. And my friends were making a lot of money, and it was really hard and I didn't know exactly how much they made, but I know they were making.
And you were in New York.
And I was living in New York.
Put that as an asterisk because.
But I think that is so tough when you're in a position of my friends wanted to do things that I didn't feel like I could do. And there was one time in particular that I think of that I felt so small and I felt so shitty about myself. We went to London for a friend. My friend was living in London at the time, and we went there to celebrate her like bachelorette. And I didn't have any money to go there, but my dad, who traveled a ton, gave me the miles to go. I had like just enough money to like pay for like little dinners and things like that. But they wanted to go one night to this really fancy hotel to get cocktails before we went out, like to wherever we were going to go. And I was looking at the menu online, and I was like, these cocktails are like £20 or whatever it was each. And I was like, I can't, like, I literally have like almost no money left. I cannot afford this. So I kind of tried to make the case of like why we shouldn't go, but it was clear that everybody wanted to do it and they could all afford it. And I really couldn't. And I felt like such shit. Like, it made me feel so badly. And in the end, I don't know how we made it work. I think somebody ended up like paying like for one of my drinks or something like that. And I just had like one, and we made it work. But it's so funny how something like
alienating.
That can make you feel separate from people who you are so close to, can make you feel like you're worthless.
Less
when it's
than.
like, hi, I'm a lawyer, I'm a good person, and yet here I am sitting in London feeling like the saddest, shittiest human because I can't afford this 20-pound cocktail. money has this way of just really
categorizing you,
Yeah.
alienating you. You know, it makes the divide between
and making you feel like it's part of your self-worth. Like, no, like, and now I know that was silly. And
keeping up with the Joneses. There's a reason why,
Yeah.
you know, I always laugh because there's all these expressions that exist today, and I find myself saying them, and I'll say them to my daughter or whatever. And I go, people say, oh God, another saying or whatever. I go, they exist for a reason. They didn't just get made up out of thin air. And as you get older, you realize where they come from. You're like, oh, well, this is where, you know, and keeping up with the Joneses is a really good one because you think, okay, who are the Joneses? Like, where'd that come from?
Yeah.
But I think once my daughter was in elementary, she went to a private Catholic school. I had voted public. I went to public school. Public schools have changed down here a little bit. Like, I didn't understand
like anything, there's good and there's bad.
There's good and there's bad.
Yeah.
And I was kind of resistant. And I thank the Lord that she went. She loved it. It was the best experience of her life, whatever. But I kept thinking, I'm not going to have anything in common. And I kept thinking in my head, these private school people, I'm not going to get along with anybody, you know. And it was very every day. Everybody was doing the same thing, working whatever they needed to do to get their kid there. Like, nobody there was in a position that made me feel
less than,
you know. But, you know, there were some that, you know, the next school year, oh, they're driving a nicer car, or so-and-so got a promotion, and and they're going to the nicer things and having the bigger parties. And even though you're not trying to be, you can't help but feel, you know, your kid's in this, you're involved, and sometimes you feel like you have to do
Keep
things
up.
you can't afford, sign up for the whatevers that you can't do, and you do it, and somehow you get through it, and something always works out. But you put yourself in this angst and this thing of, if I don't do it, at least in that situation, for instance, when your kids are involved, you feel like my kid's going to be the one left out. But then you as the parent, I mean, obviously it's not the kid's fault if they can't do it. It's just a really, even in that scenario, it can be so.
That conversation, Juan and I have had that conversation many times. Our kids go to private school now, but we've talked about, there are some schools, we live in a place in Miami where there's a lot of money, and some of the schools here, some of the best schools here are so expensive, right?
Like college.
No, like really good college. Yeah. Like, not, you know. And we've talked about, like, well, what if we put our kids there? And I'm like, I don't know, man, because the people who go there, like, I'm not in your
Different
tax
worlds.
bracket,
Nope.
man. And I don't ever want my kid to feel.
I'm turning down the AC, by the way. That's what I'm doing here, because it is freezing.
It's okay. I know you're not ignoring me.
No, I'm not ignoring you. And I
just-
don't want you to think that I'm looking at my phone, ignoring
big
you. But
fat
I'm
hypocrite?
This is like blowing cold air on me, and
It's all
I
good.
can't even concentrate.
It's
Okay,
all
go
good.
ahead.
No, I just think, like, that is something to consider, right? Like, what happens if you put, you know, you make all the sacrifices to go to this really expensive place, right? And you put your kid there. But what are they going to feel when those kids are, oh, we're going skiing in Aspen for spring break.
Oh.
And you're like,
You're going to
well,
Disney World.
Hi, I can't afford to send you to go with them, right?
Or God, I can't even imagine that. No.
Yeah, or like, oh, we just bought. I remember I went to private high school, and I mean, it was there was a range, I think, of incomes there,
Yeah.
but there were a lot
Well, my
of
daughter
girls-
went to the same one, so
Yes. So you know the vibe. So it's like a range, but it's mostly pretty well off people, and it's like everyone's coming in a Mercedes and a BMW,
Well,
and I'm
that-
like, hi, I have a Honda Civic.
Okay,
and
so I ran into that when it was time to get her first car. And I was a big proponent, even when my stepdaughter told me, like, they need a good used car as a first car. They're going to bang it up.
a
it's gonna get-
transportation, as they call it.
Well, it doesn't have to be all banged up and blow smoke like mine did day one of school. But I have no problem. It can be a name brand car, just 2 or 3 years old. I'm not asking to get
Right.
a jalopy. I just get them something that's fine, but they're going to screw it up. Let them get the nice new car upon graduation. When they go to college or whatever, they can get, that didn't work here. I was outvoted,
Yeah.
1-0. So we got her, and I was excited to get her the new car, whatever, but she was like, I had given her the choice, like, between one or the other, and one was like a very generic. And at first, like, yeah, and then when she saw the option, she's like, oh, Mom, but, you know, I'm going to be parking next to, like, And so, and now I started feeling bad for her. I'm like, girl, you were getting a brand new car. Who cares what brand it is? But to them,
it matters. And especially
course.
at that age.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
I
All
know.
you want is to fit in with your peers. And so it's a conversation that Juan and I it's a continuous conversation because, our kids are still young. So there's still a lot of schooling left. And we think about it all the time. And because it's really hard to be in an environment where money is so obvious. It's out there. And if you, it's
they want to show it.
Yeah,
you want to have the label. You want to have the shoes that are, I mean, I always laugh. I tell my daughter, I want to come back as you in my next life because the things that she's had, I've got her things before I ever get mine because now they're not important. There comes a time when you first start having a little taste of being able to afford something and you want. I remember I used to put when Michael Kors watches came out.
I remember those. They were everything.
I love them. So there was this little place in the mall here close by that had a little kiosk, a watch thing, and I would go every week and put one on layaway. I'll be back next Friday, and I would put a little one. And all of a sudden, next thing I knew, I had like 7. I had the chocolate brown one and the black one and the white face one or whatever. Ended up selling those eventually. I'm like, I don't want to wear any. I want my one good watch, and that's what I wear.
I know.
But you have to go through that where you feel like I want it all because I've never had it and I want it all. And then you realize, oh my God, this is so like I don't want any.
Well,
it was cool, but I've moved past it. Like now, I want security.
I want peace.
I want it in the bank where if I feel like doing that, I want to travel with it. But for her, she wanted the Gucci sneakers. Or I'm like, what? Are you out of your mind? I'm not going to buy sneakers for that. And of course, on a trip, everybody was getting like, okay, I guess we're going to bring Gucci. And to this day, I'm like, I hope you're like taking care of those. She's like, Mom, that was like 7 years ago. I'm like, whatever.
They better
Are you
still
taking
be
care
on
of
your
them?
feet, girl.
Yeah, you sleep with them. You bathe with them.
Are the soles coming off? 'Cause
Every
if not, you're
trip you
still
wear them everywhere until there's holes in them. Yeah, I go, when in my life did I ever spend that on a pair of...
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think it's hard when you haven't grown up with that sort of like insecurity around money to value it that way. And
I think we've been able to balance it though. I think, at least in our environment, I can say, I don't know, she's gotten a good grasp on what is worth it, what isn't. She still overspends sometimes, but I've let her take that plunge
and suffer the consequences.
Yeah,
and I think that's
why when she saw her debt, and I said, okay, now that you've been having to pay the minimums for 6 months and your whole paycheck, I'm going to clear it up one time. She hasn't put $1 on any of those credit cards ever since.
It's honestly the best teacher. I got into some trouble with not only with that stupid credit card that I didn't understand how it worked, but with my student loans in part because I, again, got a job and didn't pay a ton of money. I was living in New York. Lots of different reasons that I don't need to get into all the details of, but it kind of fucked me up financially for a long time. And my credit score was extremely low. And let me tell you something, ladies in particular, like you don't want to be depending on anybody but yourself. Financially, like your credit score really, really matters.
I don't think young people into their mid-20s understand the importance of a credit score.
Guys, let me just say, I know like once you get to this age, you recognize all the ways in which it impacts you.
Well, that's why we're here, to help you out and give you...
We're here to tell you your credit score is not something to be fucked with. It's like your GPA, let me put it that way. It's super fucking, it's like you can build it up and it's great. And it takes just one failed test, one late payment, one fucking closed account, one little tiny thing to fuck the whole thing up, and it takes
7 years to get that shit off. 7. So when you go to buy a house, when you go to rent an apartment, all of that, it gets pulled up. They're like, oh, you missed a payment. Like, but it was only a $30 minimum.
It doesn't matter.
You missed it. You couldn't pay the $30, and it's scarred. It's like a scar.
Anything that you want to do in life, any next step you want to take, I promise you that your credit is going to be
even if you have a debt, pay the minimum. Just make a payment. Just so that you're not late.
Don't let it go delinquent. Right. That's the one thing. Like, protect your credit score. It's not fair. I don't think it should be this way, but it is what it is. This is the system we live in. Protect it with everything you have. It's more important than anything.
How about this?
What?
Now, we've had our job. We have a credit score. We've learned. We've had Taco Tuesdays, ladies' night, free drinks. We've made it. We met a partner.
Oh,
we're in a new life. So how about... okay.
How do you put finances together?
Well, because I was going to say we could go down the road of you come from the same financial backgrounds. What do? Do you split everything even? Do you not? Different backgrounds, who contributes what? If you end up being one earns more than the other, which is usually kind of how it happens. Does it matter? Do you even talk about it? Is it all one pot? Does it affect yourself? Does it affect the roles at the house? Like who does more, who does not?
All right. You asked like 19 questions.
I did because
let me take one. Okay. And all right. So guys, I got it all figured out. Just you wait till you hear this wisdom. No. So I think, okay, once you get to a serious partnership, first of all, I don't think you should be commingling your finances with someone who's not married to you. I will say that.
Right.
That's one tip. I
agree.
It gets messy.
I agree.
And the law doesn't protect you in the same way as when you're married. By the way, the area of law I went into that doesn't pay a lot of money is divorce laws. So I would say this is really hard. So I think the earlier you can have these conversations with your partner, the better, because I remember Juan and I, my husband and I, we didn't really talk about this when we were dating. And then we got married and we both came into it with completely different expectations of what we were going to do. And I think most people will mirror whatever they grew up seeing. And in my house, like everything was joint. Right. My parents didn't have separate accounts. Everything was together. So I just assumed, we're getting married and everything's going to be together. And his parents did not operate that way. Like they had different accounts and they did things kind of differently. Huh. And so he was like, what? Like, I'm going to keep my separate account and like, you can have your account. And I was like, wait, I'm sorry, what? I
want your money.
Give me your money. Actually, I think at the time we were making like...
I'm sorry. It was just
she can't let it go. She loves it.
It's awful. Okay,
it's so good though. Anyway, the point is, to make a very long story short, we went through a lot of like heated conversations about this. We decided we were going to split the baby, which I think is a good compromise for a lot of people, which is there's a lot of options that you can have. But the one we had decided on when we first got married was, okay, we're going to put both of our paychecks into a joint account. And then we're going to take out a sum of money that's going to go into a separate account. And that's our fun money. And you can use the joint account is going to pay for the rent, the groceries, all the stuff that we jointly enjoy. And the fun money account is going to be for when I want to get a manicure, when I go out with my friends, when I want to like anything I do
fun
separately.
Fun money is a manicure.
For my fun, because it's for fun, right?
So it's like, an extra.
It's an extra.
Okay.
So like if we go to dinner together, it comes from the joint account.
Okay.
But if I go to dinner with my girlfriends, it comes from my fun money account. Oh. That was the deal.
But wait, and is the fun money also a joint, or you have a fun money and he has a fun money?
I have a fun money and he has a fun money. So what would happen? We would direct deposit it into one big account, and then it would automatically deduct.
Oh, for you, and for him.
And here's the thing: we decided at the time we were making
that's kind of cool.
We were roughly making like the same amount of money, so we deducted the same amount into our fun money. So we both had the same amount. Now here's what ended up happening. That's it's kind of like. I don't want to say this. I don't want to get political, but it's one of those things that's like good in theory, but in practice, it was really hard because both of us would end up like using up our fun money, and I've been like, well, am I really not going to go out with my friend because I'm not going to get this manicure because I ran out of my fun money? Like, fuck off! Like, I'll just use the joint account.
I work just like you.
Exactly. Yeah. That's my money.
Yeah.
So in the end, the experiment failed, and we
so don't do it. No, I'm kidding.
Well, you can do it if it works for you, but in the end, I was like,
you have to have control.
The other part of it too is I was like, this is all for show because it's the same fucking money.
Yeah.
So ultimately, we just put it all in the same pot. It's all
you can look at one account and say, can I do it or not?
Yeah, and if it's something that's like really expensive, like we kind of came up with like, if it's past this number, let's discuss
Check with each other
and just make sure it's cool. But if it's less than
I think
that,
you both also have to be aware of what your expenses are, what's coming up. Like you both have to be in the know of what your overall expenses are, what your requirements and what your needs are, and your necessities.
I've been super guilty of sort of neglecting that side of our life where I kind of let him run the money because I feel like I'm doing everything else. So I love you, babe. But
it's true.
I'm doing stuff with the kids and like I got a lot of other things on my belt. So I feel like I've deferred a lot of like, you get the money. I think that's not a great strategy. And I think for women in particular, it's so important for you to be aware of what's happening financially, where the money is, what accounts you have, what investments you have. Let me tell you, as a divorce lawyer, formerly, the number of women who had no idea where their money was going.
Kind of
and it's
I was and I wasn't. Like I
it's
knew,
very
but
normal.
it's not. It's just kind of. Well, that's a whole nother topic. I mean, it is. It was okay. Whatever. Anyway, a lot came from his father, his family, whatever. At some point, investments, blah blah. So there was kind of a feeling of, well, it's not mine. Even though we've been married 25 years, it's your family. You know, so you almost kind of feel like, well, I have no say so. But then I'm like, well, wait a minute. When am I your wife and when am I not? Like we're a unit, so it's ours. But then there's a lot of the jargon that I don't understand. You know what I mean? That I've never really educated myself on learning investments and things. So it was kind of like, okay, I'll let him. But, you know, we've had things happen throughout that I've been blinded to. And then I'm like, well, and then there's trust issues. I'm like, are you going to do that again? Are you going to tell me that that's going to happen again? You know, so it's iffy. Yeah, you need to be either side by side and in the know together. And
100%.
And the fuck ups need to be together.
Yeah.
And
the wins and the losses are
wins
together.
and the
because
losses
guess
need to be
what?
together because it compromises trust and it compromises.
Well, and when you
you did that, well, I'm going to do. That's fine. You spent that. Well, then I can spend this. No.
And by the way, if you get divorced, no one gives a shit. It's all it all goes in the marital pot, and it's all going to get divided up. So this whole thing is arbitrary. But I do think that whatever you decide to do, and there's many options, and you can get creative. For someone that doesn't like having it all in the pot, for someone who likes to have I want to have a little bit of financial freedom. The one thing that I will say that you need to have is transparency. You need to, even if you have your own separate account, you should have access to that account anytime you want it.
Yeah.
You don't need to use it. You don't need to look at it if you don't care. But if you want to know
if you're
fun money
marrying
being
your
spent,
life with somebody else and you're marrying every aspect
need to
of it,
know.
Your finances are part of it. And it's such a touchy subject.
Huge part of it.
Because you might like to spend your money on something that your spouse does not think, that thinks it's stupid. Okay, well, I think when you spend on this, it's stupid. I like what I like. It's not up to you to tell me. I spend it how I want to spend it. That's how it's going to be. You spend it on how you want to spend it. I shouldn't be able to say, well, that's not right. Well, because I'm an individual.
So let me ask you this.
Okay.
So because you said, we've talked about this from the context of, but you kind of touched on it when you said it's his family's money and it's not really mine. And
that's a thing I carry. He has never.
No. But
I'm just saying that has never been ever projected on me, mentioned, whatever. It's just something I automatically feel.
I think anybody who comes, if there's ever a financial disparity where someone's coming in with more money than someone else, I think that's a super normal feeling, right? Like that's
and
not
that
mine.
happened much later in our marriage. Like we went through cashing checks at Publix for many years. At one point, we had a car repossessed. We walked out to take the kids to school, and the car was gone. And I had to pretend like we left it at the office. And we're like, "Holy shit!" And for 7 months, I drove him to work. Like nobody knew anything. Like you go through it. So So then I say, "Well, yeah, like we're together on this. Not just yours. Like it's ours. We have a unit here."
But so here's where I was kind of like following up on that with this idea of like your money, my money. So what in a situation where someone maybe is the breadwinner, or someone who just is the only breadwinner, like say there's a sole bread, not even the primary, let's say they're the sole breadwinner for the family and the other person maybe doesn't work, but they doesn't work outside the home, I want to say, because I think that's a very important distinction.
Earn the income, right. Goes out to earn the income.
Yeah, it doesn't work outside the home, but is still contributing to the family.
Everything else.
What's that dynamic like? Because I know you have
So
experience
do we do a
with
part
that.
two?
We might need to do a part two.
I don't think we can get into that right now. But I would love to.
Our producer's telling us we gotta wrap it up.
Yeah, that's good though. Well, then we can go into part two.
I think there's so much more to talk to here.
In the home, outside the home? How do you balance?
What is everything worth, right?
And is it fair to ask the outside worker, the breadwinner, to contribute to the home when that's supposed to be your domain? Yeah, but that never has an off time.
Exactly. Oh shit.
Part two.
Part two.
For sure.
All right. So we're going to cut it off there. We hope you've enjoyed this conversation and you will join us for part two. Before we sign off though, we got to do one of our cards.
You pick it.
I picked a really dumb one.
No, I picked it. No, you didn't. We had a good time with that one.
Oh no, there was one that I was like, the dessert one kind of like,
No. Oh, that was a dessert one. Yeah. And then the other one was a queef. I don't know. Pick one. I can't grab them.
So for those of you who are new, we at the end of every show we grab one of these. What are they called again? I never remember.
They're like just a deck of questions.
Deck.
Yeah, delve.
So,
you delve into joy, into rants, and into I don't even know what. But they're just
all right, this is too
conversation starters. And they go from like easy peasy to like a little more intense. Just grab a stack and then pick one out of the stack, because we go through this every time. You know, we should probably pick it ahead of time. Because
wait, this one's a fun one.
Okay. Oh no.
No, it's a fun one.
I'm afraid.
No. Who is your least favorite celebrity?
Like in today's day, least favorite celebrity.
Like, who do you just be like, get off my screen?
Oh my gosh.
I hate your face.
Oh my God, this is gonna be horrible to say. It's gonna be horrible.
They're probably not watching, so it's cool.
No, you don't think?
Probably
then
not.
I'm gonna have to. This is an old school one, and I really don't even have her. Andy McDowell. I can't stand her. I don't know why.
Andy McDowell.
People even know who she is.
But that's a random.
I don't know why.
She's lovely. Why?
She's always like looks like she's about to cry. I don't know. She's probably a lovely, wonderful human, but I've just carried it with me. Who else? You go and let me think, because I know that there's more.
She's a girl of the moment. I wouldn't say she's my least favorite celebrity, because I think, and I would just want to say, I hate any question that is, what is your favorite or what is your least favorite? I don't operate that way.
Okay.
But here's someone who I don't like,
Rubs
and everybody seems to like her, and I'm like, I don't get it.
Okay, Scarlett Johansson.
Oh, don't even get me started on Scarlett
Johansson.
because
that's another.
Don't even get me started, Scarlett.
I saw her today and I was like, okay, she looks cute today, but I just don't get the hype. I don't get it.
She looks like, this is what I always say about her, and this is why I hate her. I don't hate her. I don't hate anybody.
Okay, I didn't go that far, but okay.
This is why I like, okay, she looks like someone who will steal your husband.
Oh, 100%.
And by the way, she plays that role in every fucking movie. Yeah. So casting directors see the same thing that I'm seeing. She's not who I was going to say, but she's a good one. She's up there. I really don't get the hype around Sydney Sweeney.
Oh, she's a hoe.
I don't know if she's a hoe.
I know.
I didn't say that about you, Sydney.
No, listen, I love Euphoria, and every time I was watching an episode, I go, she's got to do that in front of people, like her sex scenes.
I don't
and
even
stuff.
watch that show. I don't know that about her.
Oh, Euphoria is amazing. I love that show, but her scenes were, honest to God, I was like, this is porn.
I don't know that about her. I just think she is a terrible actress. Like, I think she's awful. I think she's, I mean.
So you're not going to get her to follow you.
So Sydney, would you like to join us on our, this is our formal invitation.
I know everybody talks about the hype with Sydney Sweeney, but yeah, she's kind of like that slutty friend in high school.
And then I'm going to say
she's
something.
Not going to break out of that role.
I'm going to say something that like, sounds really, it sounds really misogynistic and gross, but like, she's got a great pair of boobs.
Yeah.
Like, they're beautiful.
Well, that's why the guys love her.
Yeah. They're beautiful. And I praise you for that. And that's lovely for you. I just think you're not a great actress, and I don't get why people love you so much.
My daughter's along the same line. She can't.
I don't get it. And so, and I'm over you.
Yeah.
But if you want to come on the show, we will host you.
I'm sure if I thought about it, I could come up with a couple. That was a random.
Andy McDowell was literally the worst answer you could have given.
No, that's old.
Okay,
it's old.
90% of the audience doesn't know who that is.
That's fine.
And secondly, she's a lovely lady. How dare you?
I know. I have to think. I really would have to think of who just rubs me wrong. Lately, I used to be.
We're running out of time, so we got to get quick.
I used to love J-Lo, and lately,
I still do.
Yeah,
J-Lo forever.
I know.
I don't care. I'm a J lover.
I love her, but I don't know.
All right, you keep thinking about that. In the meantime, folks.
In part 2, I'll come back with my answer.
Part 2, she will let us know the celebrity that she hates. But in the meantime, everybody, please make sure that you follow us on Instagram.
Please subscribe. Watch us grow.
Yeah.
Fix our things.
Give us a 5-star review. Nothing less than 5. Anything less than that is rude. Don't do it. But make sure that you follow us. Listen to us wherever you
watch a clip.
Share
it. Subscribe. Whatever. What does it cost you?
You're giving desperate energy.
I don't care. I do not care that energy.
We don't need you. We just are like, we don't need your love, but if you feel so inclined.
Yeah. We've got to show boob. We've got to do something.
Oh, that's you. I don't got shit.
No.
All right. So follow us. We're on Instagram. Make sure that you listen to us wherever you get your podcasts. Tell your friends about us to make Claudia happy, and make sure you join us next week.
Part 2. We're going to do a part 2.
We will do a part 2. Cheers, sister.
Take care.